You only get one life, so it's important to make the most of it. Is it possible to achieve both happiness and success in life? I've been thinking about this for 20 years. And I know that being busy isn't the answer. So how does life work? There are 10 components that make up a successful life. They all fit together, so if one of the parts is weak, then everything slows down. The objective is to enjoy and achieve as much as you can. Live your maximum life.
Now, there's a really important tactic for buyers, which is called the vice. The vice is very simple and easy to use. I'd really recommend it when you're buying anything. And this is where you get a price from them and then you go, you'll have to do better than that. So you do a little bit of a flinch and then you'll have to do better than that. Too expensive, you'll have to do better than that. You'll have to come down, you'll have to sharpen your pencil, is what people used to say. And then if they do come down a little bit, they say, well, all right, how about if we took 5% off? You just keep turning the vice. You just keep saying, well, still a bit much. Can you do a bit better, please? And they come down a bit more. Still a bit much. Can you come down just a little bit more? And you just keep tightening the vice on them. That's why it's called the vice. Keep them coming down until they stop. And what will happen when they stop, if they're any good, is they'll throw it back to you. Sometimes you can keep them going down and down and down. But if they're good, after one or two turns of the vice, when you say you'll have to do better than that, they'll say, well, how much better? Tell me what you want to pay. And then you will have to then open. So the order goes, get them to open, use the vice, and then you open. Now, what you mustn't do is get them to open, use the vice, and then stop. Because imagine if they want £100, you use the vice, they come down to 95, you use it again, still too much, 90, still too much, 85, and then you go, okay, I'll buy it for 85. What you've done is you've played at their end of the pitch the whole time. So drag them down to 85, and the size of steps they come down gives you quite a clue about how much there is. And then you have to say, well, thanks for coming down to 85, but that's still far too much for me. I can only afford 64. So what can we do? Can you come down to 64? And they'll go, well, no, but I could come down from 85 to 75. So now you've got another 10. And then you can say, well, I still want it for 64, but I could maybe do 66. So you talk about your number. So the vice is a little bit weird in that we turn the vice, but when it runs out, we don't accept it. We then ignore it and go to our end. And you might say, well, why bother with the vice if you're going to ignore it? But the point is, they moved their starting point from 100 down to 85. And now when we do our opening offer, we can aim the opening offer more accurately, but also we're going to end up somewhere in between those two numbers. So we want to get them to move theirs as much as we can. And sometimes with the vice, they'll go 85, 75, 65. You can drag them all the way down. But when it runs out, you then must do your counter offer. Now, there's one more reason why the vice is great, and that's because it's a free discount you're getting. You don't have to trade. So you get them to come down from 100 to 85 in exchange for nothing. You haven't had to say, well, if I buy 20, will you come down? They've just come down. And so you've still got all your tradables up your sleeve. So you can then say, well, how much will you come down if I buy 20? And you can get them to come down even further. And then finally, you can go in with your opening offer and say, well, you've now come down to 75, but it's still too much, I'm afraid. I can only afford 45 or whatever your number's going to be. So the vice is a free tenner, a free 15, a free 20. And after that, you can start trading. That's the beauty of the vice.
Live your maximum life.